How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Gosh, you
We're
look
excited.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are those crystals behind you giant crystals?
This
What do
one.
crystals?
My
You
husband
know
gave me
this?
this one when I moved from Los Angeles to Pennsylvania on a farm. He was like, "You are earning this crystal." He knows the way to my heart.
Are crystals so expensive?
Yeah. Of
They
just like
do?
one of those floor ones. Yeah, that is.
Like
Yeah.
$1 million?
Maybe not. Maybe not, but a good amount. A good amount.
And it helps you clear the air.
Well, they all have different properties. This is an amethyst. And so
They have energies, right?
yeah, they all have different energies. And
Okay,
people say
let's just do a quick.
Sorry, I just got so many of them. That is so many crystals.
Yeah. I had small crystal bracelet I made. Okay, guys, this is Ryan. She is a certified life and spiritual coach, clinical hypnotherapist, and certified meditation teacher with over 18 years experience with hundreds of clients around the world. She's a sought out public speaker for corporate retreats such as International Talent Agency, CAA.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, thank you for giving us
just,
I like that whisper, like no one's listening.
It was like a side note to you.
Okay, side note.
So many things. Oh my gosh, you're the founding in-house life coach for Poosh, Kourtney Kardashian's Poosh. So many things, all wellness. I just feel like I'm so excited to hear what you have to say and who you help and how you help.
Well, it's a delight to be here, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Do you read energies? I have not seen the questions. I just have to ask you, do you feel that? You must feel them.
I do. I think we all do. I think we all, it's like to the degree to which we trust our own intuition and we allow ourselves to like take in that info and then act on it. I think that's a level of self-trust that we can work on, that we could magnify, that we can, work with and become more intuitive.
Do you feel like, is this something that you've always had? Because obviously you help other women, men too, or just what?
Mostly women. Okay. I like the ladies.
Yeah.
It's not that I haven't had men in my workshops, but primarily it's women are my tribe. Yeah.
So have you always been this way? Have you always had this healing way about you?
I don't know. I don't think people would ever say that. People would say that at different phases. We've all had different incarnations in this one lifetime of versions of ourselves. And I think through some of the like dark nights of the soul that I had a struggle with addictions. So it's not been a linear path to wellness. I think sometimes it's very circuitous. And through those kind of depths of despair, you start to reach for things that are out of your comfort zone, different ways to self-soothe, different ways to come back to center. And that became, vitally important to me to just save my own life and become a woman of dignity and grace. That I didn't want that. I just wanted to survive at the time, but that's what ended up happening. And that's what a path of grace can do. So
that sounds like so much clarity has come, but it sounds like there was a lot of struggles along the way. When you say addiction, did this save you from that life?
It did. I think it did. Like I said, when I was 17, I had a classic spiritual awakening and I went to India and I studied meditation there. So I had
at 17?
17. I know.
Your parents were like, see you later?
My mom went with me. My mom was open.
Oh, okay.
My dad had passed away. And it was sort of like that. It sort of tumbled me into what are we doing here? What's the purpose? What is the meaning of life? That was sort of the gift of his passing. And it, I think, kind of opened me up to just being open, but I still had that teenager voice in my head going, what am I doing here in this meditation place with hundreds of other people? My mom kind of dragged me there. And then I felt that click that
what happened there.
Before. I was in meditation and I had this, this is Kundalini awakening, which is like this fire that shot up from my spine into my heart. And I just had like tears of crying of just joy and well-being and happiness. And actually in my meditation saw Jesus, and I didn't have a connection with that being. I had it before time, really. I mean, I knew he was a wonderful human and that he had incredible powers and he had been an incredible force on the planet, but I didn't have my own personal connection with it. Now, this is not a Christian spot. Mm-hmm. It's just that great being revealed himself to me. And I felt that love that love, just waves of love of over and over, just like kind of swimming in this sea of love. And I know it sounds very esoteric, but there's really nothing to compare it to. I've gone through childbirth. I've fallen in love several times in my life, but nothing compares to that exalted state of love of self, of love of something greater. And that's what I experienced then. And so that led me to.
Do you stay there? Can you ever get back to that place? Or is that like
I touch into it? Absolutely. I have touched into it. And in meditation that's happened, and also in life, being more present in life, peeling back all the programming, peeling back all the tapes and the, less than, not enough, perfectionism. When you start to peel away those voices, I think our essence really is love. I think our essence is joy and happiness, but we have all these layers poured on top of us through ancestral programming, through our parents, love them dearly, but it's just what's passed on until we decide it's different, right? And then we pass that to our children. So I think there's a lot of work to do, and it can be overwhelming. But it's also, there's a joy in doing it, because you start to see yourself getting better. I know you two have had that experience where you were one way, and then through some diligence, through some grace, through some practical ways of showing up in a different way, you changed, right? Can you both honestly say that that's happened?
Of course.
Right.
Yeah. I wonder
that's addictive.
I wonder how many people are like, because it seems so, like we get it, but I know a lot of people will be like, okay.
It's abstract.
It's abstract.
I can't touch that.
Can you work with people who can you get to those people who are just kind of like, yeah, not a chance, you had an can everyone have an awakening? Can everyone get there?
An awakening is necessary. I think we all just, maybe it could be just wanting peace, wanting a sense of well-being, no matter what chaos is going on around us. I think that's spiritual, is being able to allow things to be as they are and stop fighting all the time and pushing things to be different and just like driving ourselves into the ground with anxiety. And that's not to say we can't have goals and work towards them, and there's going to be resistance. But you know what, when we keep doing that insane behavior over and over again, that letting go of that and just allowing the people we love around us to be as they are, to obviously set boundaries and say, this is what works for me, this is what doesn't, but then allowing everyone their own journey. I think that can give you a lot of peace. So there's like a lot of different ways that we can plug into this. It doesn't have to be these exalted spiritual states in a cave in India that we should all be seeking that. We're all householders. Like, I'm a mom, I have 4 kids. There's a lot of drama that happens. I have 24-year-old and 9-year-old. Like, it's
wow.
There's a lot.
I think about you and your mom at 17 going and doing that, and like even just meditating. I'm pretty sure you weren't 17 yesterday, but I think about how much
a 24-year-old impossible.
That is so like forward thinking, is now in all of our kids' classes they've started to do yoga and meditate, but your mom was way ahead of the time on that one.
Only by 5 years.
No, no, but to think just when you're talking about coming to that at the age of 17, that is like, oh, that was really forward.
What did your friends
but it didn't preclude me from,
it
didn't preclude me. My friends were horrified. They thought I was, what was going on. That wasn't cool back then. It wasn't like, meditation wasn't a thing. I'm 52 years old. So that's, what is that? It's like the 80s, 80.
They must have thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even though that I had that, I don't want to say like it's been this path from 17 till now. It's not. Like, I came back from India and I went into college, and then I had to grapple with what I had experienced then, and like keg parties, you know what I mean? So, and that's like the polarity of those two things was really difficult. And then several years later, I couldn't find purpose. I couldn't figure out, I was one of those people that everyone said, oh, you could do anything. You could do this, you could do that. And I was really well connected. But I couldn't figure out, I didn't feel that call from the heart of what to do. And that is a particularly horrible feeling, sitting on your potential.
Literally, when you say that, I feel like for the mom transition from like, so many of us that have, are in our 30s, 40s, you're taught like so much to get married. And then like, that's a goal. And then that's kind of it. And then have babies. And then it's like, you never thought past that. So many of us were like trained for that. And then you lose yourself a bit. And then you have to figure out like, oh my God, I have to be me again. But I don't know what that is, what that looks like. What do I do? I don't like anything. I have no passions because I was never developed to think about my own passions.
And when I'm thinking about that, like in the beginning, I kind of thought when that mom transition would be over, I would just be like really old. So I'd just be like so old it would be over. I didn't think there'd be so much time left and sit there and go, and this is so many women. What do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
How do you find, like you just said, how do you tap into that? I think that's like if you can tell us that, oh my gosh.
I think we have to fold in these new parts of ourselves that as we're evolving, as you become a mother, as you become a wife, as it's figuring out what gives you meaning and how you can create time outside of the roles that you play that's just for you. I mean, I'm sure you guys talk about this all the time of self-care and mom time and not feeling guilty about it, and having other interests outside of parenting. And because we're whole human beings, we're not just mothers, right?
Yes. And we do think about that a lot. But then a lot of people are like, well, I was taking care of the kids for so long. I don't maybe they see someone else that has a hobby. I don't have a hobby.
Yeah.
I know I'm smart, but I don't know.
This yesterday, literally
a hobby.
No, I asked someone, I'm like, do you have a hobby? Like, what do you do? Like, how do you know, oh, Darlene, I'm like, what do you do? Like, if you have your kids are grown up and like, I'm like, how do you fill the days? Like, it's like, she's like, I don't really have a hobby. I'm like, do I need one? Like, what do we need?
Do we start pickleball?
What yeah.
That's so funny. You know what I tell clients when they come through like that, when they're in a transition, is make a list of things that you wanted to do when you were younger, goals that you had. Go back to that time when you weren't bogged down with all the expectations other people had of you. Where's that purity? Where's that voice within you? Because you do know there's breadcrumbs to purpose. There's things that you were good at, things that you naturally gravitated to as a young woman, and go to those things again and just revisit them. Make a list of them. Don't judge them. Just put them down on paper. Take a look at them and see if any of them are still have a spark to them. And then if it's I always wanted to be a potter, take a pottery class, do the things. I always wanted to make necklaces. I went through this time where my little one got kicked out of preschool, and it was I was like, what are we doing? And I went back to that. I was like, I'm going to just I made 15 necklaces. Everyone got a necklace for Christmas. That was what was happening. I was making malas, but it was something I'd always wanted to do. And so I leaned into that in a moment of stress, in a moment where I felt that, I know not to reach outside of myself. I know now, I'm not taking a drink. I'm not taking a drug. Those things are not part of my lifestyle anymore. No judgment. Everyone's in their different place with it. And I applaud it. I just lost the privilege of it. It's been almost 20 years now.
How long was that how long was that a problem? For how many years did you live with that? The alcohol, drugs?
Oh yeah. You know what? It was a short-lived time. And that's where I think the grace of what I had done before with the meditation, I could find my way back quickly. And so it didn't preclude me from that adventure.
Right.
The meditation and all of that, because we'll still have to have the human experience. That's why we meditate. That's why we seek spiritual things, not to stave off life experiences, but it's be able to lean into them when the shit hits the fan, because it will. That's life. Life is lifey. And so those things are going to happen. So what do we lean into in those moments? And sometimes we're going to Netflix and chill. Sometimes you're going to drink. Sometimes you're going to do whatever that is. You're going to shop and do all those things. But consistently, where do you lean into yourself? And what is that? And for me, that was the necklaces. It's meditation, it's journaling, it's working with working with others and having coaches and hypnosis and all these different modalities that actually are fun.
I have to say, that's the best advice I've ever heard or gotten in a situation when women, and I only know women because that's what I am, and that's who I talk to mostly, when women are lost. And I think that's the best advice anyone's ever given. And so many people have never had an answer to that. And they've tried to be just spark an interest, try things, but to think about what you did love.
Yes.
And
write it down.
And that is something I think even if you're 7 or 8, maybe you love cartwheels, I don't know, but you must have hated something or loved something. And I really appreciate that advice. And I think that is one of probably the most powerful pieces of tangible something that someone can start with when you feel so out of control in a time when you feel like you're kind of just a particle floating around in the world as a mom and not much else. So thank you for honest to God, thank you for that.
It's a good first step, and sometimes you just don't know where to start. Hypnotherapy. Oh my gosh. Tell me all about that. How did you learn how to do that? What do you do?
Wait, you do that?
Why do
You do
that?
hypnotherapy?
What do they need for
Yeah,
it?
I'm a
Everything.
hypnotherapist.
Can you make us horny? Yeah.
Feeling really sleepy. No, it's not like that at all.
No, you can't. You can't like snap your fingers and make us horny. Got it. Okay.
No, can't. I think you guys are good to go. No,
Tell us about
I
that.
loved it. I found it. It found its way to me. I read a book really early on in my recovery. So this was like 20 some years ago that it's called The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. He's one of like the grandfathers of hypnosis. And it's a really beautiful book. And I just understood that we have a subconscious mind. It runs 95% of our life. It's under the surface of everything. It's a powder keg of your imagination, all your memories, anything you've ever experienced, and your emotions. You can see how it reroutes everything.
What people have said to you that you didn't process, but it's the narrative of other people speaking to you. Okay, I'm diving into this world, so like I'm trying to I'm clarifying just so I get this right. It is the running narrative that goes nonstop that you're not even aware of. So this part matters so much because this is so loud, but you can't actually hear it. It's just living.
It's in there as a memory that you because you don't forget.
And it circumvents the conscious mind. So if you're like, I want to be in a great relationship, that's your conscious mind saying that. I want to be in a happy relationship. I want it to be fun. I want to feel loved. But your subconscious doesn't recognize that frequency. So what it knows is trauma, abandonment,
Pain,
drama, fear, those sorts of things, pain. So what it does is it'll pull in that partner over and over again until you connect those dots.
Right. Sorry, say that one more time. So the partner you're with, okay, got it. So it picks a partner that helps heal that part, you think?
The partner that it recognizes that's all the tapes you've laid down. So usually it's not sexy, my friends, but it's usually like some person that's unresolved in your life from your childhood that you're going to pick, that you're going to find sexy and attractive in some way. So it's not that your picker's off. It's just that your subconscious is bringing this over and over again. It's this awesome Labrador retriever who just brings what it knows. Here's the bone. It's trying to please you, what it thinks you know and what's familiar to you.
And, so many, like in a really basic example for people who are listening, it's like that woman who says, I just want to find someone who loves me and appreciates me, but I just keep going back to the same asshole every time. And I don't know why this happens to me.
No, why do they find
Because that's what her subconscious pulls in, and that's what she finds attractive. That's what she feels attracted to. So he might even be presenting as like a sheep, but he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And he's like 6 months in, he's doing that thing again. But but it is what you said's right, you guys, because you said it's bringing it to heal. It is bringing it to heal. That's what's so gorgeous about this, because it's showing you the places where there's healing to be done. And this is where, we are this incredibly healing, powerful healing mechanism. And it just keeps bringing the same things over and over to say, how you feel about this? And what about this? Do you still feel like that about it? So you'll often find when you change your mind about something, it'll bring you in I know you know this, you'll make a decision, I'm not going to do this anymore. Then it'll show up again. It'll bring you an opportunity in your life, will present itself where you can make that choice. Do you see how we're like cooking with gas all the time? We have so much power and so much ability to self-heal. We're just kind of like bumping up against the walls though, and not understanding this mechanism that is us, right? That is our subconscious.
Can you ever understand your subconscious mind? This is really crazy, you guys. You have to bear with us for a second, because I know that a lot of people are like, what is going on? But because for me, the subconscious mind is really I look at it in my children and the narratives we're placing in them, because I think that they are self-fulfilling prophecies. And then we talk about them so much out loud as adults that we're feeling this part of it without even realizing what we're saying, just because you think they're not listening, but they're always listening. So this part here, does anyone have a really solid subconscious like that, or are you having to speak 10 times harder up here to influence?
Can this one tell this one to shut up?
Like, can we work hard for this one to override?
I think it's just having respect for the subconscious. I think it's whatever you say when you're triggered to yourself, that's what you're working off of. If you say, nobody ever loves me. Yes.
You can
When
hear
you
that.
notice yourself saying when something shitty happens or you're super emotional, usually when we're triggered, we can get a really great window into what our belief system is, what our subconscious is working with. So it might be, nothing good ever happens for me, or nobody ever loves me, or I'm so misunderstood. That, write those down. When you see them right there, there's the keys into your subconscious. You're getting what your subconscious is working off of all the time.
A lot of men have that.
It's usually, I'm not enough. I'm not valued enough. I'm not worthy. That's usually the
now that we've identified those things, because in the moment, we wrote them down. Now, how do we work on them?
This is amazing. How do you work on them?
You do the opposite. Write what the opposite of them are. Okay. So now you've got your blueprints that you're going to work off of. Now, most people do affirmations when they're in this beta state. So they're just driving their car, they're doing their makeup, and I love myself and I'm wonderful. But that is an output state. It's a brainwave activity state that's very fast, and it doesn't actually go into the subconscious.
It's empty.
What's that?
It's empty. It's empty self-affirmation.
So staring at yourself in the mirror and you're not going to you're really pretty. I'm so pretty. I'm so pretty. I'm so pretty. You're not necessarily going to believe it. That's just like outside.
And you're doing it when a brainwave activity state is in beta. So what you want to get it to is an alpha or theta, which is a slower brainwave state. So a really great time, you don't even have to, meditation is a great time. So if you want to do it after meditation, when you've hit those brainwave states, what that means is there's space between thoughts. We've all touched into that. When you space out, when you watch television, you're in trance.
I don't think I have that either. I don't think I do.
Have you ever driven from A to B and spaced out when you you don't know how you got there?
Yes.
Okay, you've done it. So these are brainwave states that you were in trance. Okay. So we're just normalizing trance.
Get in a trance state. So trancing is good.
So you can do it through breath. Just do 10 deep breaths, count down from 10 down to 1. That'll put you into an alpha state. And from there, do your affirmations. That's one place to do it. And the next place is when you're falling asleep at night. And when you're waking up in the morning, you're going through these states to get to delta, which is sleep. Everybody knows that, right? That's when
Delta's asleep.
Now you know delta sleep. So beta is how we're talking right now. It's a lot of output. The brainwave activity is really fast. Then alpha, theta, and delta. So when you go to sleep and you're falling asleep on your pillow, that would be the time to repeat those affirmations to yourself. And guess what? You are like putting seeds into the ground, and they're going to start to take root. All of a sudden in your day, in the weeks to come, as you continue to do this practice, when you're falling asleep and when you're waking up in the morning, you're going to start to feel this feeling of well-being. You're going to start to say, oh, wow, I'm a kind person. Wow, I look so pretty today. They'll start percolating and bubbling up. This is my experience. This has happened to me in real time. And it also, with my clients, I see their lives change. And what we believe about ourselves is what we call in. It's the quality of life that we end up having is our belief in who we are. So we have to work with that. We have to shift it and we can change it. And we have the power to do that. Most of us, when we fall asleep at night, we're worrying about what just happened the day behind us or about what's happening ahead of us. So we're impregnating the subconscious mind with worry, fear, anxiety, regret.
Yes.
And so you could make that one shift and really do it diligently right before you sleep. Just take some deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out deep as you're falling asleep. Repeat those things that you want. And maybe it's abundance. I wish to see this incredible abundant flow move through my life in all areas of my life, something like that. Or I love and accept myself completely. Just those simple phrases will really shift things.
Did you say,
can I go whisper in my kid's ears when they're asleep?
She's trying to change theirs.
Can you change other people's? Like when they're asleep, can you be like, to
your husband?
You are appreciate me. You say yes to everything.
You do. In fact, I do that to my kids when they're sleeping. I whisper in their ears because they're in that state,
Yeah. So I can go every night. I can go and whisper to them what I want them to hear, and they'll hear it.
Yeah. As they're falling asleep would be the best time when they're kind of groggy and sleepy. Just like you're perfect just the way you are. I love and accept you completely. I'm so glad that you're mine.
Oh, what a good way to fall asleep.
But they'll think that I'm saying that to them. Should I say you are this? I'm gonna go do that tonight. I'm gonna say that you can do anything you want.
Yes.
And then we have to teach them this practice.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, we are
teach
having
them to count down from 10 to 1.
Okay.
And just go down to this, and on each inhale and each exhale, count out, inhale and exhale, and they will drop into that.
We're having a sleepover this weekend, the whole family, and we're going to do this together.
How do you perform hypnotherapy on someone? And did you just do it to us?
Yeah. I put them into this relaxed state. So we relax the body. It feels really good. We're just like relaxing there's different inductions that you can do. That's one of my favorites, called a progressive relaxation. And we just relax the whole body, and everybody wants to do that. And when the conscious mind, when the physical body is relaxed, it's easy to accept suggestions. And we then go through what do you want in your life? Everybody wants sort of the same sorts of things, but everyone has their own specific language around it. And so from there, we just make those suggestions. They have a recording that they listen to. I have
you talking
on my website.
You're talking. It's you talking.
It's me talking. It's me guiding and directing through my voice. And then I teach everyone self-hypnosis, because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. It's really to the degree that you allow yourself to drop into this state. So I can't make you do anything that you don't want to do, anything that doesn't align with your values. It's really just knowing that you have the power. A hypnotist is great, and for deeper issues, and it works great for many, many phobias and addictions and all kinds of things, and just well-being. But you can drop your own self into hypnosis. In fact, it's very easy to do.
I could talk to you all day, because I think that really the core of what we're saying is you have to get to know yourself better. And by doing that, you kind of have to be still with yourself, and then always want to be better, or not that, get to know yourself so that you're not afraid of who you are and what people think you should be. And so doing that by taking moments of stillness and then recreating your narrative that everyone's taught you is ways to really come into who you are as a person. And we just had this conversation with our daughter, like about our children in that teen stage, where it's like, I don't like you. Why? I just don't. I've never talked to you, but I hate you. You know, when people do that, like for no reason. And I think that they all are interconnected, because if you know yourself, you don't really hate anyone, because no one can really bother you, because it's not about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of freedom.
We can do with our children to get them to become to a place where it's like, that's a them thing, not a me thing. And if they're okay with who they are, I wish you would taught children.
That's so true. When she said it's such a freedom, it's such a freedom when you know who you are, and there's not the people outside, they can't hurt you. It's like,
yeah,
that's right.
When you can actually see behavior for what it is.
Where do people find more of you talking?
Yeah.
How are your insights?
I feel like
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram a lot. What's that?
I feel like I just went to church. I feel like a new person. I feel like, do you have a book?
Not yet. I'm working on it right now.
Yes, please.
We won't read it. We need her to talk to us. We need her to actually.
I feel like I could read a book like that.
Yeah, I think we could too. It's kind of like The New Secret. It's a modern day how to unleash your subconscious into your conscious.
We love this conversation, and we so appreciate.
I have one more question. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. You know, confidence is such a huge topic, and so many women try to get it. Is that something someone can get, or is this all part of unpeeling who you are in order to like step into it? Like, do we all have it? Like, can you get there, or like, is that something? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think you have to work at it. I think a lot of it is a lot of acceptance. We've talked about acceptance before. It's accepting who you are, right where you are. There's nowhere to get to. This is it. Like, you are it. And so it's really just, there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to like become. Like, if you can accept all that you are in this now, with your character flaws, with your shadow, with your ego, with your inner child who is wreaking havoc all the time, and just start to know which voices are in play, which part of you. There's a lot of aspects of who we are, and stop disowning the parts of you that you feel shame about. Just if you can love on yourself, your life will shift and change so quickly and so rapidly. And when you see yourself doing something, give yourself that love. Say, oh my God, that was a really kind thought I just had. Wow, that was really, that was a really lovely action. I just say the things to yourself that you're seeking to others to say back to you. I know that's just obvious, but it's not obvious to a lot of everything. Do it
Wow.
because no one's going to give you exactly in the way that you need to hear it. You know exactly what you need. So give yourself that love, give yourself that grace. You're doing so much. You are so much right now. Stop looking to others, stop giving your power away to them, to want them to mirror it back. I mean, it's great that we have best friends that do that for us. But ultimately, like, we are our own best ally, and become that for yourself. Embody that. Make the decision to do it. You can make it a focus of your life. To stop outsourcing all the time.
What are the, and I know we have to go because we're like taking someone, but the shame piece, what, like, was shame from where and when? Like, is that a secret? Like, is that our own secrets? We have secret shame, or
Yeah,
is
we
that
do.
like,
we have things that we've done that we're, ashamed of, or that, then again, I'd say write it out. Just get it out of you, burn it, give it to God, give it to the universe, give it to whatever it is that
your
you
dog?
Give it to your dog. Yes, just give it away. Like, stop carrying it, drop the rock. And then see what the learnings are from it. Know that you probably did it because you were afraid. You probably did it because you didn't feel like you were enough. You probably did it because you're afraid to be left. Like, this is just part of the human condition. And then just let it go. And then you are who you are right now. And that's not who you were back then. I'm not the 17-year-old who went to India. Like, I'm who I am in this moment, and I love her. I love every single dark night of the soul I've had, every single wrong turn, every single dude that showed up, all, my first marriage to the second marriage. Like, it's everybody. I like bow down to all the teachers that have played their part in my life, whether it's, unresolved still, or open-ended, or closed, with closure. Like, it's all like just a beautiful journey to get to this moment.
The teachers in your life, you don't mean the teachers in the classroom. You mean all the people that have affected your life.
The girlfriends, the husbands, the boyfriends, the
One night stand,
people that brought you to your knees. Those ones. Like, give them that, because something happened from that. Like, and if you don't have forgiveness, look at what they gave you. What happened as a result of that heartbreak? What gift? What gumption did you get from that not getting picked in that job? Like, whatever it is that you're holding a resentment around, you can sift through it and see, maybe it's time to look at it from a different perspective, to flip it around so you can get your power back. And if you can't do it alone, find someone to do it with you, because it's hard to sometimes face these things on your own. So find a good coach, find a good pastor, whoever that is.
Can you do that for people? Or that's...
Yeah, that's part of coaching. Yeah, that's what we do.
If I can't think of shame right now, does that mean it's hidden somewhere and I have to go dig for it? Or might I have just dropped it already?
You might have dropped it.
Okay,
I think about, like, what have you done that you feel shame around? Is there something, and maybe you don't. Is there something that your parents shamed you about? Is there something that they said, don't be this kind of girl, or you are this kind of girl, or whatever that is? Think about how you identify.
So there's something in there I can find. I'll find it.
You might have dropped it.
Maybe not. Maybe you don't need to
drop it. Maybe I dropped it. Yeah, I don't feel much. I'm trying to, like,
you're shame-free.
I'm like trying to find it. I'm like, I'm not shamed. I'm sure I'm shamed lots, but I can't think of something that I feel shameful about.
But I don't think you need to dig for it if it's not scratching.
It's not.
No. I think that too. We don't have to dig so hard. It's whatever's there. Our subconscious allows us to see what it knows that we're capable of. Assuming. I have people come to me, they'll be like, I feel like something happened in my childhood and I can't quite pin my finger on it. And I'm like, let's leave it, because if you were meant to know about it, you would.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because everyone talks about trauma, and I'm like, I'm really trying to feel it, but I don't feel it. But maybe, we got so much work to uncover. It's so crazy. You've taught us so much in such a short amount of time.
So then we're going to go follow you on Instagram. And then when your book's finished, we're going to read it. And then you also, you do like retreats, like people can.
I do retreats. Yep. I do retreats. I do workshops. I do things like that. I was just in New York City for the last year and a half, building this wellness space on the Upper East Side. It's called Sage and Sound. It's really amazing. There's lots of classes and teachers and breath work. And I sort of got to dream up how people want to show up in person again. On the Upper East Side was really cool, because it's like the center of the matrix. It's really cool to do something there.
Where do you live now?
I live in Pennsylvania. I live on a farm. I'm in 15 acres, and I have goats and chickens. And
do you grow vegetables?
I do.
I love that.
Yeah. That's fun.
New York to Pennsylvania, there in Pennsylvania.
No, LA to Pennsylvania. And then I just was commuting to New York. Yeah.
Wow.
Good life.
what an amazing story you have. And
there's so much more.
I know I could literally talk to you all day. I just thank you so much for taking time to speak with us. And I mean, I really think you've said so many things that will help, like really genuinely help so many women that are so lost. And that's what we find is they're so tired and lost and exhausted and, confused. So,
and we're like, there's so much more life left. We got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're sitting on, you're gold. That's it. Just know that. And like touch into it through breath. When you feel stressed, I would say, just go take 3 deep breaths, learn some breath work techniques, like put your hands on your heart and keep saying to yourself, I have you, I've got you, I've got you, and keep reminding yourself of that. Yeah, you're cool.
To my kids, go trust yourself. Do you trust yourself? Good. You got this.
And if you have breath, you have life. You're here.
Oh my God. I'm going to start saying that one too. They're going to hate me. I can't wait to whisper things in their ears.
Yeah.
They're going to,
you're going to be up all night.
I'm going to be very busy tonight.
Thank you so much for all of this. And
Thanks.
everyone will go follow you. We will tag you in the description.
Oh, you were such a breath of fresh air. Thank you for that.
Lots of love. Take
Bye.
care.